Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I share weekly or bi-weekly tips and tools about healing experiences that we've had in our life and how to tap into living a soul-led life. And recently somebody asked, how do you let go of things that have happened? And it's been my experience that we don't have to let go of anything. That when we're done processing these emotions, that thing that's been captivating us, that thing that keeps ruminating around and around in our mind, taking up our time and attention, causing internal despair, internal drama, that thing will let go of us. And how do we do that? By taking the time to be present for our own emotions, without going into deep stories of how it's unfair or how it shouldn't have happened that way, or all of these what ifs and should haves. When you go down into the how life isn't fair and you start retelling yourself the story of how you are a victim of your life and how all the external forces are against you, the only places that it's going to take you is further down into not being able to let go of your experiences. It keeps a hold on you. But when we can turn towards ourselves and we can acknowledge that there's emotions and there's stories coming up, and we can turn towards that, and we can pay attention to where the mind is trying to take us, redirect the mind, reshift our perspective of what is this here to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this? How can I grow and evolve? How can I become the driver of my own life in this situation? How can I empower myself and yet feel the disappointment, feel the sadness, feel the anger, the guilt, whatever it is you feel, staying present for that, but taking the reins of your own life and listening from a deeper knowing, a deeper inner knowing. That's where the answers will start to rise up. But you won't be able to hear your deeper inner knowing if you're so caught up in your head and cycling over past energy, bringing all your past energy into your future instead of focusing on where you are right here and right now in your life. And that takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of willpower at first to break those chains of those patterns, those loops that are going through our brain that have been going on like that for a very long time. But once we step out of that victim perspective and into our life and what's happening today, and how can I move with what life presents me instead of putting the brakes on and resisting everything that's happening to me. Doesn't mean that it's fair, doesn't mean that you deserved it, doesn't mean any of those things, but here it is. Here you are in this space. And taking the mind, the body, and the spirit, that kind of perspective, because in this Western medical model of healing, they'll have you talking and talking and talking about things that might have happened to you, about your issues. But if you're not dropping into the body and nourishing your body, feeding your body well, allowing it to rest when it needs to rest, moving it when it needs to move, and knowing that food and what we put in our body is information that impacts everything. So if you're working on your mindset and changing the way that is going, breaking the loops and patterns, and we're not tuning into how are we fueling this home that carries our spirit and our soul? How are we fueling that? Because hormones and all of that changes with certain foods, which impacts the way we think, which impacts the way our body feels. So we do have to tune into the mind, the body, and the spirit. And that's what's missing in a lot of therapy, a lot of talk therapy, is they get you to talk, but they're not considering that the body is what holds these emotions. The body is holding so much, so we have to take care of it. And then our soul and our spirit, how is that speaking to us? If we filter out the noise from our family, our friends, society, telling us how we should live our life, what it means to be successful and productive, and we listen to our soul and what it's guiding us to do on our own life journey, our soul has its own imprint. We start tapping into that, and we can, once we drop out of this head and mind and loops of the mind all the time, thinking, holding on to things, but allowing it to just try doing something for your mind, your body, and your spirit today. One thing. See how that shifts. We got to show up